If you are a plant and garden lover in this town, then there is always 1 week in your diary, and it is this, the Melbourne International Flower and Garden Show.
It's a 5-day event and it's always held at the foot of these wonderful Melbourne exhibition buildings and Carlton Gardens.
And it hosts a huge range of specialist plant growers, floral displays, garden designs and advice, and every product you could think to have in your garden.
In fact, it's the largest horticultural event in the southern part of the planet.
Jane and I are here today for you to be your eyes and ears.
And it's so big that I think we should get started right here and now.
All right, instructions?
You go that way, I'll go that way, and I'll meet you in the centre.
Can't wait.
See you.
Some people do find it a bit tricky to just casually wander around the garden show. And by some people,
It's nice to
I
be
mean
here
Jane.
after 2 years.
I've been a massive fan since I was a knee-high to a grass.
Which is only yesterday.
And we love you and admire you. And
Very good. Well, you
nice
enjoy
fellow
the day, won't you?
one of the biggest draw cards at this show are the show gardens, where some of Australia's premier landscape designers demonstrate the latest garden trends and plants and offer inspiration to all who come to see them. And as it turns out, Jane has managed to find that one of Australia's most inspirational people has also been involved in the design of one of the gardens.
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you. Do you like the garden? It's pretty...
I wasn't talking about the garden, I was talking about your Australian of the Year. Well done, you.
Yeah, so, I mean, I still can't believe it. Even when you say it,
I know.
It's just amazing, and yeah, I can't believe it.
You really have become a gardener.
I have. I wasn't the biggest green thumb, but then I got a garden last year, got more into it, and then I got this opportunity to build this garden, which is called Tramlines. So it's a fully accessible and disability inclusive garden. It just looks like a beautiful garden.
It does. Now, what do you mean by tramlines?
The outside of a tennis court is called the Tramlines.
Of course.
So it's a bit of a tennis pun, right? But it's also got just different accessibility features throughout. It's obviously pathing, so it's a bit easy to roll around, seating for people in wheelchairs like me, but the things I'm most proud of are the things like the sensory plants. So they're Australian natives, but they also have different feel, different sounds and different smells for people with different sensory disabilities. You might see that a lot of the flowers are yellow. If you are losing your vision or going blind, normally the last colour you see is yellow. How cool is that? So we're trying to think of absolutely everybody. There's a accessible fire pit.
I love that the fire pit has got the grass and then the bricks and then the stones. What's that all about?
So, again, if you are blind, you might not know that you're about to walk into the fire pit, but when your foot hits a different surface, then you can feel it. How cool is that?
Oh, that is good, isn't it?
I think one of the best parts as well is we're actually auctioning off this garden. So 100% of the proceeds goes to the Dylan Alcott Foundation, our foundation, to help young Australians with disability achieve their dreams through startups, scholarships, equipment to become Paralympians. And so this could be in your backyard.
And the great news is that the auction went really well and raised over $35,000 for Dylan's foundation. Gold medals all around.
At every garden show, there are a few things that get people talking, and this year, this garden is doing just that. It's making some very strong statements about our future climate and the role we can play in it. From the sunken house to the neon signs saying this could be coming soon.
It was a comment on global warming designed in 2019. We were thinking about sea level rise. Everything that's now happening in Australia, it's become more relevant than ever with a lot of the flooding that's going on.
Tell me about the figure on there, the neon.
Yeah, definitely. So it's 2.6 billion metres squared is worldwide deforestation over the 5 days of the garden show. So to visualise that, it's a football field every second. It's not a doom and gloom piece. We are kind of highlighting the fact that the environment will continue, the environment will heal itself. When landscapes rewild themselves, they do look quite beautiful.
I think it's like moving away from monocultural planting and embracing diversity and embracing messiness, Like, I think it's so beautiful to have a garden that looks wild, it's overgrown, buzzing with bees, you dig a hole and the soil's just all jumping with life. And I think that that's critically important.
I think introducing things like ponds and rocks for habitat, that's how we can kind of give back with our personal properties to this climate cause.
One of the show gardens I really loved was Robert Boyle's gold medal winning More Than Meets the Eye. with its avenue of silver birches underplanted with hydrangeas. Not content with this beautiful display, the garden also had 5 other areas to sit and contemplate life. It even had a veggie patch.
One of the best bits of this show every single year is looking at some of the student designs. They're a much more sort of modest space and budget, but they have fantastic ideas, and I reckon they pull them off, well, I'm not going to say better than some of the big show gardens, but they certainly have a crack. Tell me about your garden.
So it's a contemporary edge on the native Australian garden. So I'm trying to go away from the bush look and refine the use of Australian natives by giving it a Japanese twist.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Great
Cheers.
effort. See you,
Thank
mate.
you.
G'day, Sarah. First prize.
Yes.
Tell me about yours.
I wanted to jam as many plants in as I possibly could. And so I've raised a boardwalk up so I could plant all underneath it and just really maximise the green in a really small spot.
It's got a bit of an inspiration, this one too, yeah?
A bit of a throwback to being up in the Alps in springtime, all the snow melting and just seeing the forms come back out of the landscape.
Oh, I love it.
One of the highlights of every flower show is discovering who was awarded the title Best in Show. And this year, the title went to the garden Inner Life, designed by Chris Jenkins. Christian, is this your backyard? This is beautiful.
Oh, it's my backyard for the next 5 days.
And beautifully tropical, but you're here in the heart of Melbourne.
Yeah, so I love to play in the space of wellness gardens. And I've always got a soft spot for a tropical garden.
Yeah.
And there's always the perception that we can't have tropical gardens in Melbourne.
Yeah.
But all of these plants are within a 50-kilometre radius of the nurseries from Melbourne.
But the inner piece, that's really important in a garden, isn't it?
The body of water creates the tranquility, and the surrounding of the plants creates the lush greenness.
You have gone over the top with the entranceway with those elephants, though.
The elephants? Oh, I love going a little bit over the top. Yeah. Basically, I love depth. Okay, so the garden's 16 metres long and 12 metres wide. And then by having it 16 metres long, from the back of the garden, you look straight at the fountain and the beautiful Royal Exhibition building. And from the front, you've just got that nice depth that takes you through the room. And then the plants, that's the key to garden design at a garden show. You're only as good as your plants.
See you in person, Jane.
It's nice to be here after 2 years. And as I do battle with the crowds, Millie's found a colourful haven.
How many different varieties do you bring to the show?
We've brought nearly 800 different cultivars of bulbs and flowering perennials. Yeah, we really want to educate people so they have a better understanding on how to grow bulbs, where to grow, and what to grow for their climate.
And you are passionate about people understanding what's inside this little nugget, yeah?
Definitely, yeah. It's really important to understand what you're actually buying. When you buy a bulb, the knowledge that the flower is actually already stored in there from last year when it grew last time. The bulb digests the foliage, basically makes next year's flower as it's dying back down.
So the flower's already in there?
The flower's already in here.
Show me.
We've got our nice fat bulb here, and we're going to make a gentle cut to have a look inside. Now, I know people might think this is a bit sacrilegious and we're damaging a bulb, and no, it won't come back, it won't flower. But for the purpose of education, let's have a look on the inside, Millie. We've got basically this big white part here is our energy source. That's our food that's going to sustain our bulb. In here, that's our foliage and flowers. Now, if we wanted to be really careful, we could actually get out each individual petal, and if you look very carefully on the tip of my knife, we've got the stamens already formed, waiting for the right atmospheric conditions to flower.
So that's the actual flower?
That's the actual flower, and there's a stamen sitting on the edge of my knife right there.
Oh, wow.
It's an urban myth, putting them in the fridge. Putting them in the fridge will make them flower earlier and potentially make the stems longer. The key with bulbs is just as they're coming into flower, basically they're going to start looking for their tucker to make next year's bulb. So feeding as they're coming into flower heavily, and then they make a really fat bulb for next year. The fatter the bulb, the bigger the flowers.
Those bulbs are just so colourful, Millie. But if it's colour you want, What's on display inside the exhibition building is a riotous Technicolor extravaganza. There are plants as art, plants as window displays, and plants just being plants. I love it. Have a look at that. That is just unbelievable. Beautiful orchids and lots of floral work. They do a great job. Hello.
We see you on television every Friday
And
night.
I wink at you. You mean you don't know that I wink at you every Friday night?
There's no doubting how beautiful those plants are, Jane. But as you know, I do love an ambitious gardener and a plant that gives back. And no one does that better than Kerry West and her fruit salad trees. I mean, I'm assuming your home garden is just full of these trees. What's the record?
Well, when my husband started, it was out of poverty, and he put 30 different grafts onto a tree, and 29 were successful.
Wow.
There was like 15 different plums and 10 different peaches and various numbers, and we all went, wow. But we don't do 30. The maximum you can get from us is 6. We can graft the same fruits of the same family onto the one tree. So you've got a citrus tree here with, this is a lemon graft, this is the finger lime, and that's the Tahitian lime over there. So there's 3 different citrus. There could be lemon, orange, mandarin, it could be grapefruit, tangelo, there's all different combinations.
How do you go about managing a tree with, like, they have different characteristics, don't they, and habits? How do you control that in the garden?
Well, we call it balancing, Millie, balancing. So if the growth of the lemon, which we recommend you grow them all in their own little areas, keep them that way, that's what we do, and then we balance them. So if the lemon starts to grow faster than the other 2, we cut it back and slow it down so that everybody gets fed by the mother tree that they're grafted onto. They get fed equally and one's not allowed to dominate. That's the key factor in fruit salad trees.
Fantastic. Yeah. I reckon it's really good fun. I'd be keen to know how many people, like the maximum trees people have achieved at home too.
Could you help us find it?
I can help you. Yeah, no worries. I think it's over that way. Good to see you. Can I borrow your wheelchair, please? And the man?
Giving it up.
You're not? Oh, blood. Okay. Hello. After a hectic day at the show, I've managed to catch my breath and sit down with a friend, former TV presenter and medal winner at both the Melbourne and Chelsea flower shows, Jason Hodges. Fancy seeing you here.
Oh, I fancy sharing a TV screen with you. This is a very nice change.
It's good to see you back again, man.
Look, the garden show, thank God it's back. You know, it was technically 3 years. 2 years ago, I was in the driveway with all my plants, ready to drive down from Sydney to build a garden, and I got a phone call saying, no, it's off.
Not on.
That was heartbreaking because you've got sponsors and materials and a team ready.
So how is the show for you?
This is such an asset for our industry and for our community, and COVID's proven how important gardening is for all of us.
And all these happy people, all happy faces everywhere. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Cheeks are starting to get sore, and so are the legs, and it's only early days.
It is so good to see you, Jason.
Well, it's nice to be on a show that I've watched for so long.
How's your day been?
Oh, my day's been fantastic. What I like about it is that all of the people here have been happy, not one grumpy person to be seen, and they've all been wanting to know, what's that plant? How would you do that in your own garden? And it's just a lovely place to be.
And it's so many different ideas that you can see, but then you see people standing there looking at something and then having their own ideas from it that they can take
do that
home.
in my home. And that's what gardening does, though. It brings out the best in people. Happiness, joy, a reward, and everyone should just keep doing it forever and ever and ever.